What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilkin. I'm coming back today with more Danmachi, and guys, we're talking about the new EX stages that just dropped in the game earlier this week. Now, I have a team for Stage 1 that many of you guys can build. Easy S-clear team, no questions asked, and that is, of course, the light team. Now, you will notice there's some slight changes here. We've basically got a cookie-cutter single-target team that we've been using for like 7th Zone and a lot of other events. This team generally could pull off a top 500 or at least top 1,000 record buster score with just relative ease. And once again, they're going to be back in the saddle. Now, the difference, though, is normally we would swap out that light Hive at the front. We'd swap her out for like Earth Lazar. In this situation, I think, personally, that Hive needs to stay on here. We need the healing. We need everything she's got. Hive is going to be very, very, very important and integral, frankly, to this team. Now, we, of course, also in slot 2 have Astrea. Now, Astrea's skill 1 is extremely important, but you'll notice right out of the gate, she's running a revolving amulet. I will go over all the weapons that are associated with all of our allies here in just a moment. But this revolving amulet means that after turn 1, she's leaving. She's really only here for her skill 1, and that gives strength and magic down 45%. Our opponent is going to absolutely decimate us, and the whole goal in these EX missions is to get rid of you early. The opponents come on strong, they come on hard, but they start to peter out over time. So as long as you can get that 45% strength and magic out really quickly, we'll be in great shape, okay? Now, of course, in slot 2, we have Finn. Finn is a great unit. Finn, single target unit, extremely strong. His essay is one we commonly use for good physical resist down 60%, will give us the SA gauge charge 66%. Finn is good for going in here and getting stuff done very early. I like Finn. Finn is amazing. And he's a really solid single target unit. Then we've got Fianna. Now, as I'm going over Fianna here, I'm going to cover one thing here. Everybody is running the same glorious anklet that reduces stunnage. Because if you get stunned in this and your opponent will stun, you are essentially going to just run out of steam really, really, really quickly. You'll actually notice that my outfit is like, what, 50% with her or something like that. We use her a lot. So that's how often we use the light team right now. And that's the way it's going to be with the next meta. Remember, every anniversary, there's like one element that just gets an insane boost. So, utilize that. Obviously, with all these units, you want to use their dedicated weapon. But as far as armor goes, everybody needs the stun resist anklet. And preferably one at 90%. If you have one fully ascended, that's absolutely immaculate. That's what you want on everybody. Okay? So, these are the first 4 units. Now, in slot 2, there's kind of an amendment I'm going to make to this. So, if you have some lower level units, or you have some units that, how can I put this? I mean, I guess for lack of a better way to put it, if you have some units that are maybe taking excess damage that you kind of want to alleviate, you could swap Winnie out for somebody that does AoE resistance. There's a lot of units in the game that will do AoE resistance. I've chosen not to go that route because I frankly didn't need to. In fact, if I go any further with my team, I'm reducing so much damage that we're getting all zeros and we're not getting counter damage. So I've decided not to go that way. If you find out that you're taking too much damage, Winnie is a great unit that you can basically swap out for someone that will reduce that AoE damage. Remember, the opponent will hit you with SA, and that SA will absolutely obliterate your team. So that is one option. I've chosen Winnie for skill 2. Skill 2 is a strength of water attack damage 60%. Sight, not the greatest thing. I mean, that's kind of redundant for most people. But this 30% HP regen is absolutely what we're looking for. Physical resist down 40%. Bell's already going to do that, but we get it out early. And single target down 30%, which I think Finn already does. But That's why she's here. She's a big bolster to the team. Now, once again, I'm pretty sure it's redundant. I'm pretty sure Finn already does the single target damage. Let's see here. Double check my work here. Maybe he doesn't. Yeah, single target 30%. I was right. So, and he's also going to do light resist down 40%. So she has a little bit of redundancy, but that HP regen is just going to help keep us alive. So that's a very, I won't say very important, but if you're taking too much damage early on in the game, put somebody there that's going to reduce incoming AoE damage, and you'll be in a much better state. Okay? Finally, Hero Festa Bell. Hero Festa Bell is a great unit, really needs no introduction. Mine's fully ascended, but I'll be honest with you, at +3, he'd still probably be pretty viable here. The one exception that I'd make, and I'll talk about it when I get into the fight, is that you probably do want to put a little more defense on him really early. But quite frankly, Hero Festa Bell, fantastic unit. Really excellent for this. Now, the downside is I'm going to be at Hero Festa Bell in slot 2. That means that Bell's going to get light damage 120%. Fianna's going to get light damage 120%. And Finn, really, he's going to stay with his standard light attack damage. He's not going to get the damage buff. Lazar here wouldn't be a bad choice. But because of how hardy Bell is, I've chosen to use him for this. And he actually pulls it out. There is an argument for using the light Lazar here, because then Harahime will actually get light damage. She'll get light damage 100% with Lazar's SA. So she'll actually become a damage-producing unit. And, of course, then Finn gets 100% damage, though he's already at 70%. There's an argument that that extra damage isn't super mandatory, but it does help. Now, this is where things get a little interesting. Because of that, we're going to be right up to turn 12. If a lot of you want to try this out, you could try Light Lazar here, and you can kind of, I guess, gauge how you want to handle this situation going forward. But for me personally, this is the methodology I've decided to go with. It's worked really well for me. Like I said, we're right down to turn 12, which is our limit on this. So it kind of gets the job done. Assist-wise, I have this assist, this Eyes assist, that does the 111%, also the Strength and Magic 25%. With Dex 25%, not super important, but Strength and Magic 25 will help out Harahime, because everybody else on this team really is strength gauged. Now, I am using Ali for the 33% SA gauge charge. Very important unit. Also does MP regen, so very, very, very strong, solid unit. MP is going to be very important for both Fianna and for Finn. Kitane, the reason that I have her on Finn is because she's got a really solid strength skill, or strength, I'm sorry, not a strength buff, I apologize. She's got a really solid, she has light attack damage and earth attack damage plus 25%. Actually, I take that back. She should be on the backside, and Argo should be there. Let's fix that real quick. Yeah. Knew it didn't look right. So Argo here gets 732 physical attack. That's why he's here. He does light attack damage and thunder resist down 20%. Self penetration rate plus 30%. Very good stuff here. Notice here it says, when attacked, low light physical attack, strength and magic down 40% on foe twice for 2 turns. That's going to be pretty redundant. That is, those extra actions act as a, they act as an adventurer skill. Here's the way you can kind of handle this. If you don't have Osvi, or if you need another, I guess, bolster on your team, if you don't have these units that are max limit broken, I don't know why you wouldn't have told you guys time and time again, you got to have this light team. This light team is ridiculous. A lot of these units are still around and will be rerunning shortly. Or, no, take that back. The reruns are done. The reruns were done back in December. But nevertheless, I was thinking of the Astrea record reruns. You could run without Osvi. You could replace Osvi for someone that does the AoE damage reduction skill, and then rely on Argo for the damage reduction skill. You would just make sure that either Fianna or Haruhime, or both, frankly, were doing some kind of replication of that. For me, in this purpose, that extra skill is redundant, but you could use that to replace Osvi's 45%. You take a little extra damage sometimes, but reducing that AoE damage would actually be a huge benefit. Personally, I've chosen not to go that route. It's a little bit more work because then you've got to use Haruhime's skill too, and you got to have Fianna's extra action pretty much on point when that goes down. But it is a tactic. It is definitely a tactic. I've just chosen to go with Osvi's 45%. And frankly, if I'm totally honest here, that would reduce your damage significantly more. But once again, and as I've stated prior, the biggest issue with doing that, and I emphasize the biggest issue with doing that, is simply that you at some point you could reduce damage so much that you're simply not taking hits. And if you do that, then you're not getting counter damage, and counter damage is going to actually work. It's going to work in your favor to kind of towards the end of this fight. Anyway, harping on that enough, let's move on to the fourth assist, and that is Apollo. I don't know why he's called Apollon. Maybe there was some... anyway. Apollo. So Apollo has a physical attack 712, so work really well with Fianna, and physical resist down 25%, critical penetration rate and guard rate plus 15%. All that's going to work towards your favor. Now, I know down here it says fire and... Arm cut off there. Says fire and wind, but don't worry about that. This team handles it. Okay? Fifth slot, we have Felice, and of course, Felice is single target damage, strength, magic, agility, and dex plus 10%. All good buffs. Finally, we have this unit, which I mistakenly used earlier. And the reason that I have her on the backside is because that light attack damage 25% is going to help everybody on the team. Guard rate plus 20%, and she does self strength and magic 20%. Remember, Bell doesn't get the strength buff from anybody else on the team, so this is going to help him out immensely. So that right there is going to help us get a little extra damage out early on. As far as this goes, I've got party strength 8%, turn 8 to 12. That's what we're going to do doing the vast majority of damage. That's where we want to finish it up. I've got light attack damage, turn 6 to 10. Once again, the end goal here is to beat this within 12 turns, so that's where a lot of our damage is going to be taking place. And I've got the SA gauge charge, and these are all just kind of standard fare that we use for just about everything. Let's jump into the fight. And let's do this, okay? So hopefully now you fully understand what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're handling the situation. We have 12 turns. Let's make this work. So, Haruhime comes out of the gate with her skill 1. That gives everyone SA gauge charging, and notice it does physical resist and magic resist plus 40%. Super, super, super important you pay attention to that, okay? We need that. Now, Osvi... we'll do the strength and magic down 45%. Remember, we said that is basically... So, between Haruhime and Osvi, we now have, like, near perfect coverage on every attack. The exception would be single target attacks and AoE attacks. We could, as I've said before, replace Osvi or even Winnie with somebody that covers the AoE attacks. And we could even... what we could do is, if like in a perfect world, we could take... Osvi away and cover those AoE attacks. Take Winnie away and cover those single target attacks. You'd basically do single target and AoE resistance, whatever the best resistance you have is. The problem is, as I said before, if you're taking 0 damage, you're not countering. and we need those counters. So I'm not going that route personally. I'm going to use these two as my coverage, and after that, we're going full offense. So, we'll do one other thing, but nevertheless, mostly offense. So Finn's going to come in and go ahead and buff himself. Fianna's going to go ahead and come in, and she's going to do her buff. The thing is, her buff is also going to do SAH charge. It's redundant, but the nice part is her extra action will do the status debuff and foes buff, allies buff plus 2 turns. Now, Haruhime has that skill, so Fianna arguably is redundant here. But honestly, her single target attack is really, really, really solid. I think she's good to be in this position. I think she's fine. You could, in theory, swap her out for Light Lazar. That definitely is a complete option here. But I think for what she produces on this team, I think she's a good choice. Light Lazar may be better, arguably, but she's the choice I've decided to go with. So I'm going to stick with her. Plus, that allows Haruhime to focus on MP regen, and then if we're running into issues, we kind of have a blanket on our buff and debuff replication. So basically what we built into this team is a safety net, right? Now, unfortunately, once again, I've never... that stupid logo. I love the logo, but it's still blocking stuff, and I need to fix that. And I forget about it every time I record. But Haruhime's health is not an issue. Haruhime's health, even though you can't see it, is pretty close to full after everything's said and done. Now, this is the turn where things get interesting. So Haruhime is going to go skill 3. That is going to be that 10% 10% MP regen. We could do buff and debuff replication. Actually, I'm gonna do it this turn just to get one extra one out. Here's the deal. I don't know how often. Yeah, I don't know how often we're gonna be using her skill 3. I think we get to use it 3 times total, so we need that MP regen. But I really, really, really want to focus on getting, basically on getting the damage out early. So we're gonna go ahead and utilize skill 2 with Haruhime to get that regen out early. But I think going forward, just about every other turn, we're gonna go single target with Haruhime. Winnie, once again, we're gonna go HP regen with her to get a little bit more healing. I think that will help us out big time. Okay, and remember, Haruhime has counter healing, so we're literally just stacking healing on regen on healing on regen. It's gonna help out big time. Okay, and Haruhime once again is gonna replicate everything. She doesn't replicate regen, but we're gonna be fine. We've got this handled. By the time Winnie's regen runs out, and I think Haruhime actually dropped a regen too, didn't she? I think hers is for 3 turns. So basically, Winnie is just extending that. Now, when that runs out, we'll already be in good shape. Because as I said, these EX bosses are all about the early battle. By turn 4 or 5, they start to peter out and they become very predictable. So, skill 2 with Winnie. Finn, I'm going to go ahead and do his skill 3. Reason being, normally we would save that. But Belle already has a skill that does a lot of stuff that Finn's skill 3 does. So I'm going to go skill 3 here, just to give us that early KO save. That will help Winnie out too, because Winnie is a +2. So she might actually need that on this turn. So we're going to go ahead and give her that coverage. Remember, she doesn't have any of those safety nets we implemented last turn. The opponent has the 45% strength and magic down, but she doesn't have the safety net that Haruhime put in place. And I don't really want to utilize Haruhime's again. So that will help Winnie out. Because if Winnie is taken out of the battle this early on, the downside is that will kill our S clear. And the whole point in this team is to S clear this. So skill 3 with Finn, and skill 1, which is her big single target attack with Fianna. Let's go. Hope this is making a lot of sense. I know I'm taking a lot of time to explain the strategy, because if you're lacking some of these units, the strategy will help you kind of build maybe another team that can handle the situation. Okay. There we go. And yes, I am going to be using, I know it doesn't look pretty, but I am using my icons here. And I would highly recommend you do too, because you want to keep track of your opponent's buffs and debuffs, as well as your buffs and debuffs. So, now Winnie is gone, Osvi is gone, we haven't lost anybody. That's great news. We're now pretty much, I won't say in the clear, but we're going to be working. We're going to be doing amazing things from this point going forward. Now, normally this is where I would give Finn, the SA to get that 66% charge out, but I want early damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Harahime, and that's going to give everyone strength and magic 120%. Now, she'll do SA gauge charge 44%, and honestly, with the... I know Finn is 66%. He's 22% more. But, honestly, with the Memoria in place, I think we'll still get a quad on turn 12. So I think we're still in good shape. Think so. So, skill 1. Belle's going to come in and do... Or, I'm sorry. SA for Harahime. It's going to give everybody strength and magic 120%. That means all of our single target hits from this point going forward are going to be that much harder. Okay, Belle's going to do a skill 1, and everybody else is going to do their big single target attacks. So, remember, Fiona at this point is actually got her extra actions going on. So those extra actions are going to keep everybody in their buffs and debuffs. So we are good to go. Our opponent now is debuffed. Strength and magic down 45%. Physical resist down 40%. Light resist down 40%. 1 unit and all unit. So we basically have everything we need. Let's go. Now, everybody gets strength and magic 120%. Now, the downside is Finn is working off a lower light attack damage, but I really think we'll be fine. I think ultimately, we're still going to be good. Now, Belle's taking some early damage. Ooh. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see Belle get taken out there. I honestly thought his resistance was going to be enough. I'm going to go back here. I'd like to, in my mind, chalk that up to RNG. Just because... In my prior run, Belle didn't get taken out. Now, that might change my tactic a little bit. That might mean that I have to use Harahime's skill 1 there. But let's try this again. So we'll go ahead and this is how this works sometimes. You know, RNG on these EX missions could be a factor. And if it is, just go back in here and reattempt your run. So we're going to go back and we're going to do everything up to turn 3. Remember, I did tell you guys, early damage is a factor. Early damage is a huge, huge, huge portion of this. And Belle is lacking some of those safety nets that a lot of these units are utilizing. So, HP regen. I'm going to go ahead and do buff debuff. We're going to go ahead and do skill 3 there and skill 1 here. Okay, this is going to be the moment of truth. Okay, so we've got our SA here. I'm going to SA with Harahime. Unfortunately, the big downside to Harahime's SA is that it gives us a high HP heal and endurance dex and ailment resists down 60%. Does give us MP heal, which is really nice. Ailment cure on all allies, which is super nice. The downside is it doesn't give us that physical and magic resistance buff. Belle's attack gives him... So, it removes physical and magic resistance debuffs on self and gives him the 10%... gives him that 10% kill saving throw that Finn has in place. So in theory, Bell shouldn't be in a world of hurt here. His skill 1 should handle it. Let's see what happens here. If he dies again, that actually means that what I've got to do is I've got to go back in there and do skill 1 with Haruhime this turn. Yeah, Bell's not putting up his barrier, which, I'm not going to lie, has me a little worried. Okay, Haruhime healed Finn. And then she just healed Bell. So perhaps that's where what I was looking at was the Haruhime heal. We're good now. We should be fine now. So I kind of figured that was... Well, so it wasn't so much RNG. It was probably that either Haruhime healed somebody else or just failed to get her counter heal and I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention. So there we go. So as I thought, Bell survived that turn. That's what we wanted to see. That's absolutely, I won't say the perfect scenario, but that's absolutely a fantastic scenario. Okay? Now, Haruhime basically is going to spam her single target skill. That's going to give us MP healing. Bell's going to go on to do his skill 2. Then Finn. Let's see. Finn actually should be fine here. Let's see. 2 turns left on Inspiring Courage. And Fianna's got 1 turn left on her skill 3, so we're going to rebuff her skill 3. Remember, that's going to give us buff debuff replication. I think we'll be good. Ooh, and Bell just put up his shield there. I forgot that Bell's shield is on his extra action. So that's why his first turn was kind of iffy. But if you have that problem, just go ahead and restart it. No shame in that. There we go. So now Bell is going to be okay. I completely forgot that his shield was extra action. For some reason, I thought it was on his main action. So that's 100% on me too. But Haruhime's heal came in clutch. Everything good to go. Once again, if you have that problem, just go ahead and reattempt that. So now everyone has 44% SAH charge. It's not the 66, but we should still be well on our path to get our quad by turn 12. Maybe earlier. So, single target with her, single target with Bell. Let's see. He needs to rebuff his. Yes. Let's see. Is it necessary, though? Does 3 extra actions, mid-light physical attack. And agility, physical, and yeah. It's actually not super important, but it'll be really nice to get the extra action. Unfortunately, that is going to wipe out his MP. So, but with the 20% MP-ish regen, well, it is 20% MP regen, and the extra MP regen with our assist, I think we'll be fine. Remember, Haruhime is going to do 10% on this turn and 10% on her extra action. So I think we're good here. We can go ahead and wipe out his MP, but it'll regen pretty quick. We'll go back and do the single target attack with Fianna. And let's see, our buff, debuff replication is still in place, so we're golden. We're fine. And thankfully, this opponent doesn't seem to wipe out our buffs or our debuffs, so we should be okay. Ooh. Here we go. There we go. Now, did Finn lose his kill saving throw? Looks like he did. Because he actually looks like he utilized it there because he took a hard hit. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on Finn. I can't utilize that yet. But, yeah. Yeah. We'll be okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it work through this. So once again, Haruhime single target. Bell, I don't think he's going to need to rebuff for a while. Indomitable Sword. Actually, I take back next turn. He'll need to rebuff that. We're still in good shape, though. Finn can do his single target. Fianna will do her single target. She'll need to rebuff next turn. But we're still in good shape. So, both Belle and Fianna are going to rebuff their extra actions next turn, but everyone's just doing big single targets this turn. Here we go. Remember, everyone in this turn gets an extra 44% from our Memoria, so we're in solid shape. We're still very, very much on a path to get the SAH charge when and where we need it. Finn's taking some heavy damage. Does he not have his defenses? No, our opponent just hates him. Man. That is hilarious and brutal. So both Belle and Fianna need to rebuff this turn. Haruhime really just going to keep doing her single target. That's just where she's at as a character right now. So rebuff skill 1 on Belle and skill 3 on Fianna. Everybody else, single target, let's go. And the extra actions are a factor in this. I don't know if it's an insane factor, but it is definitely a factor. And let's turn off icons. So our opponent is already down to about half health. So that's the good news. All right, we've got an SA happening here. And for some reason, Finn is taking damage. No one else is, and I don't understand why. But nevertheless, our opponent just hates Finn. I don't know what to tell you guys. Absolutely does not like Finn. So both Fianna and Belle are going to go back to do their single target attacks. That should be probably the last time that we rebuff that. Finn's going to go ahead and reinstate the KO save. And I probably honestly should have reinstated that last turn. So do bear that in mind. Maybe turn 7, if Finn loses it, would be a good time just for the sake of safety to kind of reinstate that. I'm playing it fast and loose, I guess you could say. So I'm going to go ahead and do Finn's skill 3 on this turn. But, especially considering my opponent apparently hates him, Haruhime single target, Belle single target, Fianna single target, and then rebuffing with Finn. And at this point, we're basically going all single target until we get that quad SA. Actually, we don't even need a quad SA. We need our triple, right? Because Haruhime is already buffed. We already have what we need from Haruhime. We'll do a triple in turn 9. Why are we saving up for a quad? Whole reason I was saving up for a quad is because the last time I did Finn's SA. So yeah, we've got a triple here. Let's do that. So, triple SA. Remember, we don't need Haruhime's. And everybody's got Strength Magic 120%. Let's make sure Finn does, because right now the game hates him. Yeah. I don't know why I was saving up for a quad. That was silly. Let's go. Now, I know that's not Hero Festa Belle's actual animation. It's because I have an outfit on him. Okay. So everybody did a decent amount of damage there. And our opponent is going to crumble. Now, at this point, basically, if I get any more SA, which I probably will, I'm just going to solo it with Finn. And now everyone's got 66%, so we're good to go. So we're literally just going to go ahead and start doing single target attacks like crazy. I don't think we need extra actions. I think everything is pretty well good to go. Let's just double check hers here. Oh, that's right, Supreme Spear. She already gets everything she needs from her SA, doesn't she? So, yeah. Here we go. We're in the end game now. Hopefully it's not going to murder me for saying that. Here we go. Now, remember I did say the big problem here is now we're taking 0 damage, so we're not getting counters. But it's late enough in the game, I don't think counters are a factor. Whenever we get an SA, we're just going to single target that with Finn. Finn is basically our DPS at this point. Everyone else is AoE, and single target is the biggest debuff. Plus, single target just in general hits harder than AoE, so we're absolutely golden here. And we should tank this like a boss. And then turn 12, we should finish him off. Now, in my first run, the first run that I kind of ran on this, I did use Finn on turn 3 as the SA. And I did a quad on turn 12. And it worked out roughly the same. So we're just going to go ahead and do single target here. And we should have enough damage to wipe our opponent out. The downside is I've lacked a few... There we go. I've lacked a few counters in this. So some people might actually put lower... and one of the things that I kind of was going to keep on the back burners if I didn't actually beat this, I was going to put lower equips on these guys so that they were getting more counters all throughout. In other words, like my swap anklets are level 90. I could put a level 60 on a lot of them so that they do get more counters. Then we're relying a bit on heals, but as you can see, they pulled it out. You don't necessarily have to follow this to the letter, but it's a good example of how you can make this happen with the light team. So there you guys go. I would say the vast majority of you guys watching this that were at least here for the anniversary that followed my advice, you will be able to decimate this event, get your ass clear, move on. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about EX Stage 2. Either tomorrow or Monday. I haven't decided when we're going to actually do that. But for now, I'm gonna err on the side of caution and say Monday, so we could probably work on that team during stream on Sunday. But like, comment, share. We'll be back with more Danmachi for you guys really soon. And remember, we do have the live stream Sunday night at 10 p.m. So I hope to see you guys at 10 p.m. Eastern time. So hope to see you guys there, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.